All right, howdy everyone, how's it going? It is update time. So as you can see, I'm back in the truck now, and this video is going to be a little bit of a rant because the reason why I broke down is really, to me, unacceptable, and just goes to show that you can't trust everything that everyone does, I guess. I mean, I don't know. So this is what happened, right? So circling back to driving 200 miles from the TA service yard and finding out that my batteries were completely drained and everything shut off, right? That's what happens. You know, the voltage went all the way down to zero and everything shut off and the truck was non-functional. Having this being the third time I've had a battery issue over those past 3 days, road service decided to take me to that Kenworth shop and find out what exactly is going wrong with the truck and why it's doing that. So anyways, fast forward to today, getting back in the truck and asking what was the issue, because I'm just curious, right? Because dang, that's kind of crazy to have that happen to you, right? Like, kind of would like to know what that is, what causes that. And what caused it was not even anything related to the truck itself. It was related to a human error. So at that TA, the person that put the batteries back in, including the new battery, didn't put them in correctly and ended up letting me go out of that service bay operating on 2 batteries only out of the 4. These Kenworths come with 4 batteries. So I was only operating out of 2. So with that, there's just not enough power to keep this truck running, you know. And the guy was telling me that I'm lucky I got about 200 miles. Like, he's very surprised about that. But that's what happened. They said there's nothing wrong with the batteries. There's nothing wrong with their charging system. It really was that the person that put the batteries back in did not put them in the correct sequence, and then hook them up correctly and left you with 2 batteries. So when I heard that, I was like, that's unbelievable. I was like, I can't believe that. I understand that people have rough days and things are tough nowadays and people are frustrated all the time, and a lot of people don't like what they do, they don't like their jobs, all that fun stuff, things like that. I don't think that gives you an excuse to do your job incorrectly, and especially putting other people in very dangerous situations like this was. Luckily, I was able to pull off and find somewhere to pull off on the side of the road, or that wasn't going to be on the actual road itself, that was going to take up the majority of that 2-lane road. But that would have never happened had the person at the TA service bay would have put those batteries back in the way that he took them out. That's basically the way that it goes. And so it begs the question to me that it's like, man, that is a service repair center designated specifically for semi trucks, not for cars, not for regular, 4-wheel trucks, for semi diesel powered engine trucks. I mean, Kenworths, Peterbilts, Freightliners, Internationals, you name it. That's what they're supposed to be able to work on and know how to work on them, right? And it's not like this was a thing that was like they're having to pull out an engine and do an engine rebuild or something, right? Like, this is just pulling out batteries and putting new ones back in. And putting them back in the way that you took them out shouldn't be that complicated of a process, in my opinion. I think I could do it. In fact, after hearing about this, I'm like, the next time I feel like I'm having a battery issue, I'm just going to do it myself. I'm just going to tell CFI, give me the money to buy the batteries. I'll buy them myself and I'll put them in. Like, I'm not going to do that again, because that ended up costing me 2 days of work. Like, I wasn't able to work for 2 days because I had to put this truck in the shop, and it just delayed everything. It delayed my plans when it wasn't even anything that was in my control, that you think wouldn't have to be. I shouldn't have to worry that the TA service or whatever you name them aren't going to put the batteries back in correctly. You would think that they would know how to do that. That's what they're hired to do. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't done my research on this, but I'm assuming that everyone that puts their hands on the trucks, right, like in those service, in those Love's service, those truck stop service stations, I would assume that everyone that's able to put their hands on a truck and actually do things under the hood and stuff like that, I would assume they have to be mechanic certified, right? I could be wrong. Maybe they're not, and maybe that's the problem. But if they are, if they did go to get their, I think it's the MSCEs. I could be wrong. I think those are Microsoft certifications. Sorry, it's whatever that those mechanic certifications are. I think it's ACE or something like that. I can't remember. But you would think that people like that would know what they're doing, and that they wouldn't leave you stranded on the side of the road like that. I thought that was bad bull. I thought that was not very good. I thought that it wasn't very good on them for one to leave it to do that, and then it wasn't very good for somebody not to double check the person's work when the person that I felt that was working on the truck was kind of questionable to begin with, in my opinion, because he was the person that gave me the jump in the fuel in the fuel lane, and when he did that, he didn't pop the hood and use the postings that are there to jump it. There's jump postings under the hood that are easily accessible. He pulled off the whole entire panel to get to the batteries just to jump it, which I already thought was kind of odd. And then he didn't even know how to take off the side paneling to get to the batteries. And granted, to be honest, I didn't at the time either, but it took me 30 seconds to go on Google and figure it out. And then when I told him, oh, hey, I think you need to take the bolts off of the steps to take the panel off, his answer was, I hope not, because then that means I have to go back and get a drill. I was like, what the hell, man? Like, that's how you take it off. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, so as soon as I heard that, and as soon as I saw why he did that and how he was jumping it, I was already kind of skeptical about this person, about how they were going to handle this. And I think they were the one that they assigned to actually do the battery testing and the battery replacement. And so didn't get a good feeling from the get-go, but I was there for 2 hours. Then they sent me on my way. A little less than 4 hours later, about 200 miles, I stall out. The batteries get completely drained because only 2 of them were working. Only 2 of them were in the circuit. The other 2 were just sitting there doing nothing. And so that's what happened. That's why I had a breakdown. And Kenworth took care of it. They got everything back in sequence. They tested all the charging, the alternator, and tested all the batteries. They said everything checks out. You shouldn't have this problem anymore. I've been running the truck now for about 30 minutes to an hour now. And the batteries are still at 14 volts, which is what, when the truck is on and running, which is what that voltage should be. It should be at 14 volts at all times while you're driving the truck. When you turn it off, obviously the battery turns off, or when you just have it on the accessory on, but the engine's not on, then yeah, eventually that voltage will start going down because it needs the alternator to charge it up. So yeah, so we're good to go. What a very frustrating experience that was. I would just say that for those of you that get your service done at places like TA and Love's and all those places like that, I hate to say it because you like to give people the benefit of the doubt, but double check the work if you can. Whatever work they do, double check it. Even if you don't exactly know what you're looking at, you kind of have an idea of what they're supposed to be replacing when they send you in to the bays, right? So double check it. Just look at it. If it's a tire that's being replaced, make sure they put it on correctly. Make sure it's aired up. Make sure the lug nuts are tight and that they're not loose or anything, or that they didn't forget something, or that all of that fun stuff. They didn't forget to put the valve on correctly. All of that, right? And then under the hood, just make sure, take a look, make sure it looks like whatever they replaced, they put on tight, they put on correctly. I'm not sure if I would have double checked that person's work if I would have caught what was the problem, because to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure on sequencing when it comes to these batteries. But I would just assume, right, just from general mechanic stuff when it comes to vehicles, when you pull something out to replace it, you want to put it back in the way that you pulled it out. So the sequence in which you pulled out this part should be the sequence in which you put it back in if you want it to work correctly, right? Just common sense. Just when it comes to pulling out one battery, you know, you just got to take off the positive posting first, then the negative posting, and then when you put the new battery in, you put the negative and the negative and the positive and the positive in that sequence in order for everything to work and spark correctly. I mean, it just makes sense. Same thing when it comes to doing tune-ups, when you're replacing things like distributor caps and cabling. Cabling goes in the same way you took it out. Doesn't go in differently. It goes in the same way you took it off. So as long as you know the sequence in which you're taking things off, it shouldn't be a big deal putting them back in. This person just didn't do that. They just put them back in however they felt like and left me with 2 batteries. Great. So anyways, I'm undecided on whether or not I'm going to let the manager at that TA service know what happened, because I felt like that's something that shouldn't happen. And maybe they should at least know that that's what happened, just for the future, to be careful, because hey, you're gonna end up crossing the wrong person that's not gonna be as nice as I am to you about this. And you know, I thought I'd just save you the trouble. Or maybe that person that did that battery change might need a little more training, because what if somebody else needs batteries changed out and he does the same thing to them? So you have to be, so I think it would be good. I'm a little undecided on it. In fact, let me leave it to y'all guys. If you think that I should call that TA to let them know what happened to the truck, let me know in the comments, and let me know if I should or not. I'm undecided on it, so let me know if I should call them or not. But yeah, that's where I'm at. But I'm back in the truck. Everything's good. I'm waiting for a load, so I'll be good to go. This truck is running pretty good right now. Things that were kind of running wonky when the batteries weren't that great seem to be running a lot better. So hopefully things are hunky-dory from here. Looking forward to having a way better week than I had last week. I'm gonna will it into existence. I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make myself have a good week. And I hope y'all have a good week too, guys. So remember to keep that rubber side down and the metal side up. And I'll see y'all down the road.